I can still remember the exact second everything turned upside down. I was standing in line at the grocery store, arms full of random junk like frozen lasagna and those overpriced, lavender-scented trash bags, when my phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out, glanced at the screen, and there it was, Vanessa's name. My fiancée. The woman I thought I'd spend forever with. I tapped the message open, expecting something normal, maybe a question about dinner plans or another edit to the wedding guest list. But what I saw hit me like a sucker punch. Just 8 words, wedding's off. Expect a call from my lawyer. That was all. No why, no emotion. Not even a question mark or an exclamation. Just a period at the end, like she was shutting a file. Cold. Detached. Like I was some business arrangement she was backing out of. I stood there, totally stunned. The cashier had to ask twice if I was ready. I paid without thinking, drove home on autopilot, and just sat in the driveway for 15 full minutes, staring at the garage door. No tears. No screaming. Just stillness. The only thing I texted back was, "As you wish." Because I understood what that message really meant. It wasn't just the wedding she was calling off. It was her way of saying, this is the last time we talk. From here on out, it's lawyers. She was tossing me aside like I didn't matter, and figured she held all the cards. But she overlooked one very important detail. Vanessa and I had just started the mortgage process together. We were about to buy a townhome in this shiny new development outside Portland. She'd chosen the place. Already picked out furniture in her head. Bragged to her friends like it was hers already. But we hadn't signed the final paperwork. And most importantly, we weren't married yet. Which meant I still had full control over my side of things. So before I even took my coat off that night, I opened my laptop, logged into the bank's portal, and cancelled my application. 3 clicks. That's all it took. And just like that, the entire deal came crashing down. Now, I know what you might be thinking, sounds a little petty, right? Maybe. But after 2 years of building a future with her, after turning down a solid job in Chicago just so we could stay near her family, it wasn't about revenge. It was about respect. About not letting myself be walked over. Still, I didn't expect what happened next. Not even 48 hours later, I was sitting on the couch, eating cold lasagna straight from the tray, when my phone rang. Unknown number. I ignored it. Then a voicemail popped up. "Hello, this is Natalie Rhodes, legal counsel for Ms. Vanessa Carter. We're requesting an immediate callback regarding your recent mortgage withdrawal. This action may constitute breach of contract or financial interference. Please respond as soon as possible." I actually laughed. Immediate callback. Now they were the ones scrambling. Suddenly, all that cold professionalism had melted into panic. I didn't return the call. I waited. And sure enough, the messages kept coming. More voicemails. Then emails. Each one sounding more frantic than the last. They weren't expecting this. Vanessa, being who she is, probably thought I'd be crushed. That I'd grovel. Maybe beg. But I didn't. I was done. Then came a call from Jenna, a mutual friend. Her voice was hesitant. "Hey, so, did you really back out of the house?" "Yep," I said. She let out a breath. "Okay. Because Vanessa's freaking out. She already ordered furniture and told her parents they'd have a guest room." I almost said, "Not my problem." But I bit my tongue. I didn't want to come off as heartless, even if I had every right to. Then Jenna added, "She's saying you're being vindictive. That you're doing this just to get back at her." That actually made me laugh. No, this wasn't some twisted form of payback. I just finally stopped playing the fool. What Vanessa didn't know, what nobody knew, was that I'd been suspecting something for a while. Even before she sent that text, things felt off. Strange late-night messages from unknown numbers. Work meetings that popped up at weird times. The way the room got quiet when I walked in. I noticed. I just didn't want to admit what it probably meant. But now. Now I saw her clearly. So I made a choice. I stopped reacting, and started observing. No more replies. No attempts to fix anything. Just silence. Let them panic. Let them guess. Let them unravel. And in that silence, things started to come to light. 2 days later, there was a knock at my door. Wasn't expecting anyone. It was her dad. I hadn't seen Mr. Carter since we all had dinner together about a month back. He'd raised a glass and welcomed me to the family. Now, he looked drained. And kind of ashamed. He didn't even bother with small talk. "What's going on with the house?" he asked. I crossed my arms. I'm not buying a house with someone who ends things by text and sends a lawyer instead of picking up the phone. "Are you here as her messenger?" His eyes dropped to the floor. "No. I'm here because she won't tell us anything. 1 minute she's calling the wedding off, and the next, she's blowing up over furniture receipts and credit checks. Honestly, I just wanted to make sense of it all." For a brief moment, I thought about laying it all out for her dad, just telling him everything. But I didn't. I kept it simple. Told him, she ended it. That was her decision. And now she could deal with what came next. He gave a slow nod, like he already knew this wouldn't end well. Then, almost to himself, he mumbled something like, "I told her not to do this," and walked off. I watched him leave, and strangely, I felt calm, like I had nothing left to lose. But believe me, this wasn't the end of it. Not even close. What I didn't know then was that Vanessa hadn't just blindsided me, she'd been scheming. And soon, I was about to find out why she really wanted that townhome so bad. The first clue came from someone I hadn't heard from in a long while, her cousin Caleb. We weren't tight or anything, but we'd shared beers a few times at family get-togethers. We always joked about being the odd ones out in her overly polished, drama-filled circle. Out of nowhere, he DMs me. "Hey man, sorry about everything. Had no idea how messy it got. Just wanted to say, you dodged a bullet." I stared at that message for a good minute, then finally typed back, "Appreciate it. But, what do you mean?" His reply was almost instant. "I probably shouldn't say more. Just, ask her about Logan." Logan? The name didn't ring any bells right away. I mean, I'd met a few Logans at her office parties and those overpriced wine tastings she used to drag me to. Nothing jumped out. I didn't respond. I didn't have to. The way Caleb worded it, short, cautious, like he was treading dangerous waters, told me everything I needed to know. This wasn't just a name. This was the reason. And I had a pretty good feeling about what kind of reason Logan was. So I pulled up her Instagram account. Most of her stuff was locked down now, but the tagged photos were still public. That's when I found it. One photo, posted from a friend's engagement party a few weeks back. The same weekend Vanessa told me she was sick and staying in. She wasn't in the main post. But Logan was. And his arm was wrapped around her waist, real close. Too close to be casual. That was it. While I was at home, nuking soup in the microwave and stressing over backsplash tile samples, she was out getting cozy with someone else. Lying to my face about the flu. The heartbreak I'd been carrying around suddenly shifted. I wasn't hurt anymore. I was focused. I didn't just want out. I wanted out clean. No strings. No baggage. No leftover fingerprints. First thing I did was call the mortgage company again. Made sure my application withdrawal was final. Sent them a screenshot of her breakup text just in case. The guy on the phone told me, off the record, that her attorney had already called twice, trying to undo my exit and get me back on the paperwork. Too late. Then I made another call. One I probably should have made a long time ago. I reached out to Tyler, my old college roommate. He's a real estate lawyer now, based in Chicago. He'd offered me a great job a year ago, but I turned it down. Vanessa didn't want to leave her family. This time, I told him I was ready. He laughed. Took you long enough. We scheduled a video call for Monday. Still no word from Vanessa. Classic move. She never confronted anything head-on. Always sent other people to do her talking, lawyers, friends, guilt trips. But I wasn't playing along anymore. Or so I thought. Sunday morning hit like a wrecking ball. I woke up to 31 missed notifications. Texts. Voicemails. Emails. But none from her. They were from my bank. Apparently, someone had tried to drain our joint savings account overnight, the one we opened for wedding costs. I had put in $15,000 from my bonus last fall. We agreed it was for catering, venue holds, that kind of thing. The system flagged the transfer because someone tried to move every last dollar into a personal checking account under her name. I called the bank immediately. They froze the account. While I was still on the phone with them, trying to figure out what the hell was happening, an email came in. Subject line, urgent, regarding wedding funds. It was Natalie Rhodes. Her lawyer again. Mr. Fisher, my client is concerned about the funds in the joint savings account related to the cancelled wedding. As she contributed to the account, she believes she's entitled to recover her portion. That was a straight-up lie. She hadn't put a single cent into that account. I had all the records. Every transaction came from me. She used to say she kept her finances separate, for flexibility. Now that it was over, she wanted to pretend we were splitting everything down the middle. I didn't respond. Instead, I called Tyler again. "You've got a paper trail?" he asked. "Every penny," I told him. "Then you're solid," he said. "But listen, if she's getting desperate enough to pull that kind of move, she's not done yet." And man, he was absolutely right. That night, I got a voicemail, from Vanessa herself. The first actual words from her since that cold text message that kicked all this off. Her voice. It was shaky. Like she was trying real hard to sound wrecked. "Hey. I didn't want it to go down like this. I panicked, okay. Things got messy, and I didn't know how to explain it. Please don't think I meant to hurt you." I listened to it twice. Then I hit delete. No response. No reaction. Nothing. Because here's the thing, they start panicking when they realize you're not afraid to walk away. And Vanessa? She was used to being in control. She wasn't built for someone calling her bluff. Monday rolled around. I signed Tyler's job offer, finally made it official. Starting remote, with a relocation deal if I ever felt like heading back to Chicago. For the first time in a while, I felt like I was steering my own life again. Then came Tuesday. And that's when the last thread started to unravel. Jenna called me, again. This time, her voice was tight and uneven, like she'd been crying. She didn't even say hi. "You need to know something. Vanessa's saying she's pregnant." I went cold. Jenna kept talking. "She's telling everyone it's yours, but Logan? He's basically living at her place now. Has been since you two split. People are starting to notice." I barely got the words out. Did she say how far along? 8 weeks, supposedly. I did the math in my head. 8 weeks ago. Vanessa was deep into one of her cleanses, no alcohol, no processed food, no sex. She said it was a pre-wedding body reset. That was the last time she even let me touch her. 9 weeks ago. Barely. Which meant, there was a good chance that baby wasn't mine. But that didn't matter to her. She was already laying the trap. Trying to hook me with something permanent. Tie me to her through a kid and squeeze me for support, while I was completely erased from the mortgage deal. And the worst part? I could see exactly what she was doing. Like clockwork. I barely slept that night after Jenna's call. I just laid there, staring at the ceiling, playing the whole thing back in my mind. The timeline. The motive. The real reason she ended it the way she did. It wasn't heartbreak. It wasn't confusion. It was strategy. Pure damage control. She didn't fall out of love. She fell into something else, and she had to dump me fast, quietly, before it all caught up with her. So she could spin the story her way before I had a chance to open my mouth. And now? Now she was claiming she was carrying my child. Except the math didn't check out. We hadn't been intimate in weeks. She was cold during that time. Distant. Even smug, honestly. Told me she was saving herself for our honeymoon. Called it her purity phase. At the time, I thought it was just her being quirky again. But looking back, it was crystal clear. She'd already stepped over a line, and she knew it. And Logan? He wasn't just a mistake. He was the reason. The next morning, I got another email from Natalie Rhodes, Vanessa's lawyer. This one was aggressive. Less polite, more pushy. Given recent developments, my client is exploring legal action for emotional and financial abandonment. Furthermore, she formally notifies you of her pregnancy and your presumed responsibilities as the father. That word, presumed, it hit like a sucker punch. They were trying to trap me. Box me in. Force me to react emotionally so they could use it against me. But I didn't take the bait. I called Tyler. Told him everything, about the pregnancy claim, the timeline, the financial threat, all of it. He didn't even pause. You need to get out in front of this. Build a legal record before she does. Make it clear who's pulling the strings. So that's what I did. That same day, I hired a local attorney, family and finance specialist. Her name was Monica Blake. Sharp as a scalpel and twice as cold. Exactly what I needed. Monica drafted a formal letter and fired it off the next morning. Legal terms, clean and direct, I denied any claim of paternity until a DNA test could verify it. I wouldn't be providing a single dollar, or a second of emotional support, until science confirmed I was the father. And if Vanessa or her lawyer tried to access joint accounts or frame me as emotionally abusive, we'd hit back with defamation. Hard. Monica even threw in a clause demanding Vanessa disclose her financials in full, just in case she tried to squeeze me over the cancelled mortgage. No more playing nice. 2 hours after the letter went out, Vanessa called my phone. No voicemail this time. Then she called again. And again. 6 times. Back to back. I didn't answer. But that evening, Natalie called Monica. Apparently, Vanessa was distressed. Felt like we had ambushed her. That we were making private matters unnecessarily hostile and public. Monica didn't flinch. She said, your client involved lawyers the moment she made threats over finances. That's when this stopped being private. And she was right. Natalie tried to spin it like her client was just reacting. My client is simply responding, she said. And I wish I could tell you I felt nothing. That I was numb. But that wouldn't be true. I felt everything. Anger. Sadness. Disgust. But above all, regret. Not because the relationship ended, but because I had ignored all the signs leading up to it. Like the way she refused to combine our finances until we were legally married. Or how she micromanaged every weekend, every party, every dinner. And then there were the prenup talks. Any time I brought it up, she'd laugh it off like I'd told a joke. "Don't you trust me?" she'd say with a smirk. I should have known better. And the worst part? A small piece of me still wanted to believe this wasn't real. That maybe she was scared. Maybe Logan was a slip-up, and she was trying to fix things. But reality doesn't care about what you want to believe. It just hits you in the face when you least expect it. And that punch came 2 nights later. From Logan. It was around 11 p.m. I was alone, watching TV, half zoning out, when a message popped up on Facebook. From a blank profile, no photo. Just a name, Logan. His message said, "We should talk. I don't want to be part of whatever game she's playing." I just stared at the screen. My hands started to shake. Eventually, I typed back one word, "talk." He replied fast. "She told me you two had already broken up. She said the wedding was cancelled months ago and you were only helping her get the house out of guilt." I could feel my jaw clench. That was a lie. We were engaged up until the exact day she sent that breakup text. Not a day before. Then the messages stopped for a bit. 10 minutes of silence. And then he sent another. She said, "You hit her." My stomach dropped. My skin went cold. What? I typed back, already knowing I wasn't going to like the answer. "Yeah," he said. "That's what she told me. That you had anger issues. That you scared her. Said you used to break stuff when you got mad." I sat there, stunned. Let me make one thing clear, I have never, ever laid a hand on Vanessa. Never yelled at her in any threatening way. Sure, we argued, but it was always about time. About how she prioritized her friends and penciled me in like a meeting on her calendar. But violence? Never. Not even close. I asked him, "Do you believe that?" His reply took a minute. Then, "No. Not anymore." The next morning, I called Monica and told her everything. She immediately filed a protective counterbrief, a legal step to shield me in case Vanessa tried to pull abuse allegations to sway a court. This was getting darker than I could have imagined. But the real gut punch came on Friday. I got an email from our mortgage lender. Not just a system alert, an actual apology. They told me Vanessa's lawyer had reached out again, asking if they could somehow move forward with the loan without me. Vanessa had submitted a revised document saying I voluntarily pulled out with zero financial expectation. One problem, I hadn't signed a damn thing. She forged my name. I sent the email straight to Monica. It took her 10 minutes to respond, and when she called, her tone was like ice. "This is fraud," she said. "We can take this to the police." I didn't want to go that far, not yet. I just wanted this to be over. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. Because Vanessa was spiraling. And desperate people. They don't go quietly. The next week was chaos. Every day brought some new stunt, some fresh legal threat, some bizarre twist from her or Natalie. It was exhausting, but in a weird way, it was satisfying. Because the more she tried to bend the narrative, the more it cracked in her hands. Then Jenna called again. Her voice was frantic this time, hushed, like she didn't want to be overheard. "You're not going to believe this," she whispered. "But Vanessa, she's telling people she had a miscarriage." I felt my stomach lurch. "What?" I practically shouted. "She posted it last night. Now everyone's messaging her, sending flowers and sympathy texts. She's saying she lost the baby right after the breakup." I sat there, completely still. Trying to process what I was hearing. Was this real? Or just another ploy? Was she seriously using a miscarriage to rewrite the whole story, to erase Logan, paint herself as the heartbroken victim, and twist the sympathy back in her favor? I didn't know if she was lying or not. But I did know one thing, she was spiraling fast. She wasn't trying to fix anything anymore, she was just throwing everything she had at the wall, hoping something would stick. And sure enough, Natalie reached out to Monica again. But this time, the tone had changed. No more threats. No more accusations. Now it was soft. Careful. Almost apologetic. We understand things have gotten more complicated than we expected. Vanessa's going through some personal things, and we're hoping to avoid any more conflict, Natalie said. But Monica didn't let them off the hook that easy. She reminded them, firmly, about the forgery attempt with the mortgage documents and made it crystal clear, if Vanessa kept pushing, this would go way beyond a financial dispute. I'm not afraid to escalate this, Monica said. We'll press criminal charges if we have to. And I've gotta admit, hearing that felt good. Not because I wanted a war, but because for once, Vanessa wasn't operating behind the curtain. Everything was out in the open. And I wasn't playing defense anymore. She had no idea what was coming. That Friday, I got a call from the bank, not just about the mortgage, but about the fake documents Vanessa submitted under my name. They'd contacted law enforcement. It was now an official investigation. She'd crossed a line. This wasn't about heartbreak anymore, it was about fraud. I forwarded everything to Monica. She moved fast and scheduled a meeting with the local prosecutor's office. Meanwhile, Vanessa was crumbling in public. Her social media started getting weird. Teary-eyed selfies. Vague quotes about being misunderstood. Dramatic posts about how certain people just want to destroy anything beautiful. It was hard to watch, honestly. The same woman who once strutted through life like she owned it was now spiraling, grasping for control in a story she could no longer write. I didn't say a word. Didn't respond. Didn't engage. Because it was never just about the money. Or the house. Or even the lies. It was about control. Vanessa thought she could humiliate me and walk away untouched. Thought she could run the show, right to the very end. But the truth? I was in control the whole time, I just hadn't realized it yet. And I didn't have to fight dirty to win. I didn't have to shout, accuse, or slander. I just had to stand my ground. Then came the phone call that changed everything. It was a Wednesday afternoon. Caller ID said it all, Mr. Carter. But this time, his voice sounded different. Not cold. Not distant. Just, tired. I need to apologize, he said. I was wrong about everything. He paused. Took a deep breath like it hurt to say it out loud. I should have seen it. Vanessa's been lying to all of us. I sat there, listening, not sure what to say. This was the same man I spent years trying to win over. The man who toasted me at dinner and said he couldn't wait to call me son. And now here he was, unraveling the whole mess. He told me everything. Vanessa had been sneaking around with Logan well before she ended things. The pregnancy? Fake. The miscarriage? Also fake. She even borrowed money from her own parents to keep the lie going. To keep up appearances. To keep control. And all along, I was just another piece in the game. I'm sorry, he said again. We'll fix this. I'll do what I can to make it right. I didn't respond right away. Part of me wanted to yell, wanted to ask him how he could have let this happen. How he didn't see it sooner. But another part of me, the part that had already started healing, knew that none of it would matter. The past was set in stone. And what I really needed, was peace. So I walked away. For real, this time. I blocked her number. Wiped my phone clean of our texts. Removed every trace of her from my life, photos, emails, social accounts. I even boxed up the few things she left behind, the ones I knew she'd miss the most, and dropped them off at her parents' house. No note. No goodbye. She tried reaching out a few more times. But by then, I was done. Not angry. Not bitter. Just, gone. And that was the hardest part to accept, that the woman I once loved, she never really existed. She was a performance. A role. And I was just the supporting cast. It's been a year now since that whole storm blew through my life. Vanessa. From what I hear, things aren't going so great. But I don't keep tabs on her. I don't care to. As for me, I've moved on. Really moved on. I bought a place of my own, my name, my mortgage, my fresh start. It's quiet. It's mine. And most importantly, it's real. If there's one thing I took from all of this, it's this. Don't let someone else's lies define your story. I was a fool once. But I won't be again.